Salacious History discusses sex, romance, and many other topics that are intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Salacious History, the podcast that explores moments in history that were shaped by sex, romance, and people who were generally down to clown. I'm your host, Sarah Duncan. On today's show, we will be delving into Gloria Steinem's famous exposé article on the working conditions of the New York Playboy Club. Posing as a Playboy Bunny herself, the two-part article A Bunny's Tale has become an iconic piece of undercover journalism and shattered the carefully crafted image that Playboy founder Hugh Hefner had worked to create. Alright, let's get into this thing. Gloria Steinem is a feminist, journalist, social political activist, and all-around badass. She became nationally recognized as a leader and spokeswoman for the American feminist movement in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Gloria is another person whose life has many fascinating facets, but today we're going to be focusing on the occasion when she went undercover at the New York Playboy Club, which is when she first made a name for herself. Gloria Steinem was born on March 25, 1934 in Toledo, Ohio. Gloria's childhood doesn't have much direct impact on her experience at Playboy, but it did have a profound impact on her as a feminist. After her parents divorced when she was about 10 years old, her mother had a hard time holding on to a job. Her mother also experienced a great deal of apathy from male doctors when it came to treating her mental illness. Witnessing her mother struggle with these two aspects of her life made a real lasting impression on Gloria in terms of male hostility and injustice toward women. Gloria went on to study government at Smith College and graduated as a member of the Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society in 1956. Get it, girl? After graduation, she spent 2 years in India and then began building a career for herself as a freelance journalist. And it was around this time that the Playboy Bunny idea presented itself. In early 1963, Playboy magazine founder Hugh Hefner began publishing these monthly essays called the Emancipation, Proclamation of the Sexual Revolution. In these essays, he compared the magazine's impact on the sexual revolution to Abraham Lincoln's liberation of slaves. Really? Rightfully, young freelance writer Gloria Steinem took offense to this comparison and set out to infiltrate the public face of the company, which was the New York City Playboy Club. At the time, Playboy clubs were viewed as these sophisticated attractions and brought in clientele that included the Beatles, Woody Allen, and artist Peter Sellers. Gloria was curious to see if this environment was as glamorous and liberating as Hugh Hefner claimed it to be. Gloria's undercover investigation began by responding to the following job ad, and I apologize in advance, this is a little bit lengthy. Quote, "Girls, do Playboy bunnies really have glamorous jobs, meet celebrities, and make top money? Yes, it's true! Attractive young girls can now earn $200 to $300 a week at the fabulous New York Playboy Club, enjoy the glamorous and exciting aura of show business, and have the opportunity to travel to other Playboy clubs throughout the world. Whether serving drinks, snapping pictures, or greeting guests at the door, the Playboy Club is the stage and the bunnies are the stars." Unquote. The ad goes on from there to describe how the bunnies are known for their charm and beauty, and that interested applicants between the ages of 21 and 24 should apply in person. They were also instructed to bring either a leotard or a bathing suit with them to the interview. So, just out of curiosity, I wanted to look up what $200 to $300 in 1963 would mean today. So, with inflation, it's roughly equivalent to about $1,600 to $2,400 a week in today's money. So, that's pretty good living for most people, especially considering that this was for primarily waitressing. Gloria created a fake identity for herself for the application process. She named herself Marie Catherine Ochs, which sounds like ox, but it's spelled O-C-H-S, and that just happened to be a family name. Her fake work history included time as a waitress, a dancer in a club, and secretary for a small education foundation, which Gloria just happened to be the director for in real life. She even arranged for 3 friends to serve as references. Yes, Girl Squad. It didn't take long for the misogyny to start setting in when she began the application process. When Gloria first walked into the Playboy Club to apply for the job, the guard on duty addressed her with, quote, "Here, bunny, bunny, bunny," unquote. Please pardon me while I throw up in my mouth. All attractive girls who walked in to apply were asked to fill out an application and take off their coats. Girls who were heavier or less attractive were not asked to remove their coats because they were not likely to be considered for the job. Gloria, aka Marie, was interviewed by a woman known as Miss Shea. Gloria indicated on her application that she was 24 years old, though she was actually 28 at the time. Miss Shea commented that 24 was rather old for a bunny, but she squeaked in just under the wire. Gloria was asked to come back for a second interview, which included a meeting with the so-called bunny mother, a fitting with the wardrobe mistress, and snapping several Polaroid photos. At the end of the second interview, she was offered the job. The training process began with filling out a 4-page bunny application. Many of the questions were pretty standard for a job application, but other questions included, are you dating any Playboy Club key holders? What are their names? Do you have any plans to date a particular key holder? Gloria also received her Bunny Bible, which contained all the rules and standard procedures that bunnies were expected to follow. She was instructed to spend the weekend studying it. To Gloria's horror, she was informed that all bunnies were required to see a doctor for a special physical before they could begin working at the club. When she went to see the club-appointed doctor, he walked into the examination room and greeted her with, quote, "So, you're going to be a bunny. I just came back from Miami myself. Beautiful club down there. Beautiful bunnies," unquote. He performed the general physical as well as drawing blood for a Wassermann test, which tests for syphilis, and taking a swab for a pap smear. When Gloria asked if these kinds of examinations and tests were required for all waitresses in New York State, the doctor basically responded, "It's free. Why do you care?" Behind-the-scenes training involved studying the Bunny Bible, lectures with the bunny mother, and demonstrations on how to interact with guests. The bunnies were taught several standard phrases, the most important of which was what to say if a customer got too handsy. Quote, "Sir, you are not allowed to touch the bunnies," unquote. So according to the Bunny Bible, Hugh Hefner's reason for not allowing customers to touch the bunnies was to maintain this fantasy of untouchable beauty. Quote, "Men are very excited about being in the company of Elizabeth Taylor, but they know they can't paw or proposition her. The moment they felt they could become familiar with her, she would not have the aura of glamour that surrounds her. The same must be true for our bunnies," unquote. In reality, the no-touching rule had a lot more to do with business and legal implications. Anytime an employee engaged in behavior that could be construed as prostitution, the club risked losing its licenses. They even kept the Wilmark service on retainer to send men in undercover as customers to try to lure bunnies into dating them or accepting money to go out with them. And any bunny who fell for the ruse was immediately fired.